Alright guys, welcome back. This is the Ultimate Racing Network V8 Supercars Round 3 at Hockenheim. We've got a very small group here this week, just 7 drivers in this qualifying lobby, but we do have 4 qualifying lobbies, so we should have a full lobby come the race. With that said, all these drivers are ready. Why don't we go ahead and get started here. All right, qualifying is going to be 20 minutes for these guys around Hockenheim Grand Prix. 2.8 miles around this German circuit. Should be way more forgiving than the previous 2 rounds we had at Circuit of the Americas and Long Beach. Both of those very technical tracks and very difficult to pass at. This is a more traditional circuit, should be much easier for these drivers to cope with. Right, we're just going to change cars real quick. Right on board with F4H Diablo then. And we'll get our timing car squared away. Alright, I am Ryan McDowell, gamertag Siphon68 from the UltimateRacingNetwork.com, and unfortunately no Ryan Shelton in the commentator box with me this week. Now that said, I'm going to try and keep you guys informed as to what's happening with the timing here in qualifying. Again, it's 20 minutes around Hockenheim. Should be good for roughly 10 laps. It's going to be kind of a long session for these guys, but very technical, or very tricky to get these cars right, even around a course that is not quite as technical as the past 2 we've been there. We'll see what these guys end up with. Last 2 times out, we've had GSR Roadrunner as the pole sitter, but not far off of him has been TPR Zermatt. Now this week we are running low on qualifiers again, simply because of the conflict with F1 and potentially American football, but we'll see. There's also a time change this week. We apologize if that's thrown some of you off. This is now racing or qualifying then at 3 p.m. Eastern as opposed to 2 p.m. Eastern. The race now at 4 p.m. rather than 3 p.m. Now that's only going to last for a little bit, and then we go back to the normal schedule. This is to try and cater a little bit to not being so late on for our UK and European friends. Right, we've got some initial times already. Right now they're going to be on their first flying lap. We've got TPR Zermatt right now with a 147.140 on his out lap. 148s for a couple others, 149 for F4H Eggy. Diablo and Wumba currently 2nd and 3rd. They're entering the hairpin right now. We go ahead and ride on board with one of these guys. Diablo currently running 2nd at the moment. Going to try and do what he can to overcome guys ahead. Diablo was 9th at Circuit of the Americas qualifying. Let's see where he was in round 2 over at Long Beach. He was 6th. So he'll be doing pretty good if he can maintain a relatively good qualifying. With a rather short grid here, you should see a lot of drivers scooping up better than normal points and qualifying positions. Those second laps, first flying laps have come in. We've got TPR Zermatt with a 144.916. That is flying around here. A 146.062 for F4H Diablo. He's about a second and change off the pace there. A 146.173. Right behind him is J Parrott 46. That's TPR Zermatt's teammate there. VOR Amarth is sitting out this round. BG Wumba is currently sitting fourth, trying to improve. He's also at a 146.356, only 2/10 off. 1/10 behind that then is F4H Miko, just able to join this lobby before we got going. F4H Miko again with a 146.479, while Eggy and Crux try and get clean laps going. We're into turn 5 kink here, now into turn 6. Idea is to be as smooth as possible through these corners so that these drivers aren't upsetting the balance of these cars. Many people running without traction control, probably the faster way to run. If they can master it, these cars really get bogged down with traction control, so if they can run without it, they can probably extract the most out of these cars from these top qualifiers, sort of what I would expect. The name of the game, run as smooth as possible, roll on that throttle on exit, and try and keep the car pointed straight as much as you can. Going around for our second flying laps here. Very tentative on the throttle coming out of corners. .144.661 for TPR Zermatt, still currently leading. F4H Diablo at 146.062, so improves a 10th, while TPR Zermatt picks up about 3/10. J Parrott 46 still holds down third. F4H Eggy does finally get in a valid lap. He lands himself fourth with a 146.241. BG Wumba then pushed just down the grid to fifth. 146.356. Diablo appears to be gaining on these others. Here he is just marginally faster than the cars ahead. These cars currently are simulation damage on, no collision though. A bit of a mistake there from Diablo, and that's going to toss away this lap. Still going to be clean for him, but it's totally ruined it right there. We're going to switch cars then to J Parrott 46. Currently just ahead of him in qualifying as far as on the track. Just behind him in terms of times, 146.173. He only needs a 10th to move up into second. You can see there on the back bumper, the doctor, an homage to Valentino Rossi. It's a very wide line here. It's okay to have two tires totally off the racing surface, and these rumble strips here are a little bit tricky. Not nearly as tricky as they were at Circuit of the Americas, but still on exit of turn 1 specifically is very rough. It can pop you up in the air. F4H Miko now takes second from Diablo, pushing the rest down. F4H Crux also moves up. Let's go through the order right now. TPR Zermatt makes massive improvements. A 144.166 is his current time. F4H Miko then in second with a 146.040, almost 2 seconds off the pace here. F4H Diablo is third with a 144.062, just 0.02 of a second behind his teammate F4H Miko. F4H Crux then is in fourth with a 146.157, 1/10 behind. And very, very close on his heels, J Parrott 46 now in fifth, 146.173. The exception of TPR Zermatt, they're all in the 146s here. Even BG Wumba, 146.356 is last in this qualifying lobby, but really not that far off. A second or two, or I'm sorry, a 10th or two could move him up a couple of positions. We're going to swap over then. We're Gonna go to TPR Zermatt. Also in the Volvo, a very popular choice this year between the Volvo and the Mercedes. Currently on the back stretch, heading down to the hairpin of turn 4. This is an interesting spot that some people try and get more time out of this. They will try and late brake. Looks like he is off it on this lap. That could just be the audio, but it looks like he's off it on this lap. Percent tire wear on that front left. It is going to be a little bit torturous on that front left, with this being a mostly right-hand turn track. Tentative into turn 9 here, coming up to turn 10. This is Stadium. Going to keep it nice and low here. He takes actually a middle line with a little bit of a late apex. Decides to come into the pits. We do have roughly 9 minutes left, so that makes sense for him to try and put on some new boots, especially since we saw 15% tire wear there for him. 145.536 for F4H Diablo moves him up to second. Still a second and a half off the pace. TPR Zermatt has really pulled a rabbit out of the hat here. He is flying. Real trick here in turn 1 is trying to get back on the throttle as soon as possible. Very tough here because if you take too much, it'll really pop the car. You'll lose a ton of time, and you'll go wide on exit, dirtying your lap, or just losing a lot of time from trying to regain traction. Braking about the 100-meter board there, just clipping into the inside of that hairpin. Very smooth on exit. This is a flat out here, turn 5. And he'll want to get over to the right, brake down, and just get his 2 inside tires over that rumble strip. Get left here. This is a lift, hardly any brake, back on it. We'll come up to turn 9 here. This run out, you got to be careful of that rumble strip as well. Very uneven there. Get over 2 tires over the rumble strip here is the optimum line. He opts to be a little bit more safe than that. The exit there is just safe, comes into Stadium, tucks it nice and low. Probably could have taken a bit more there. The exit there, a little bit treacherous, but he's got it. Now comes into the final 2 corners that share a little bit of tarmac with the drag strip here. Got to be careful here. The exit of that last corner is very crucial to finishing a good lap and starting the next good lap. Being told a 44.3 for LRT Breeze, a 44.5 for LRT NAF. It's in a separate lobby right now. So Diablo has improved again, but so has F4H Miko. Diablo currently still second with a 145.244, just 1 second off the pace now, 1.1 second off the pace rather. And F4H Miko has now moved into the 45s as well, a 45.764, but hot on his heels is J Parrott 46, who also improved into the 145s, a 145.790 for him in 4th. F4H Crux then demoted to 5th, 146.107. Just a 10th behind him is F4H Eggy, struggling to find pace here. We know he's got it, but maybe just can't put it together. He's a 146.221, just a 10th behind F4H Crux, and another 10th behind that BG Wumbo, 146.356. They do have 6 more minutes in qualifying here. We're going to hop over to Eggy here, see if we can't see what's going wrong with his lap. Very late apex there. The stadium section coming up to the final 2 corners. Doesn't get quite about a foot off of the apex there. Nearly perfect, but a little bit of understeer on that last corner. That's going to hurt this lap and the next. F4H Crux then has improved. I'm sorry, that's F4H Eggy has improved a 145.982. I think he's got more time in it. But that means we've got one driver in the 44s with a 144.1 from TPR Zermatt. We've got 4 drivers in the 145s with F4H Diablo, F4H Miko, J Parrott 46, and F4H Eggy. F4H Crux and Wumba still trying to crack that 146 and get into the 145s. They're not far off though, they really just need that one good lap. Diablo currently running a 145.244. He's potentially could get into the 144s here, but I don't know about much more. Under 5 minutes remaining in qualifying now. Now there's more of the optimum line there from Eggy, taking all of the curbing, using all of the track available. It's a good stadium section there, good exit. This could be a good lap for Eggy. Alright, we'll see what that time is just done for Eggy. 145.877. And F4H Crux has now reached into the 145s. He's now at 145.961, still 6th. Can't move ahead of Eggy. The others still trying to improve, haven't improved their times as yet. Only at 3 minutes to go. It's like GSR Roadrunner, a 44.5, a 144.5. This could be TPR Zermatt's pole position that we're watching. Go up to the leader and watch as he tries to improve on his 144.146. He has taken up position. He is pulled into the pits effectively, sitting next to the timing car. Feels pretty confident with his 144.1. I would too. That time is amazing around here. Take a look at J Parrott here. Not as much curb on turn 1 as he could get. Gets a little wide on exit though. That's probably going to hurt this lap. Now, one interesting thing is with the reduced population this week, all these drivers are going to be picking up quite a few more points than they're used to. It's really going to come down to what happens in those first couple of races. Bit of an early break there from Jay Parrott. He's got more time to make up there. He's braking well before the 100-meter board. Ooh, takes a healthy amount of curb there on turn 5, coming into turn 6 and runs wide. Can't quite get the apex on turn 6 there. Does pretty well through 7 and 8, coming up towards 9. The stadium now, gonna want to hug low. Definitely does do, but runs wide on exit. Sort of an early apex there. Final 2 corners for him. A little bit of tail slide there. Gets it under control, getting ready to cross the line here. See what kind of time we just got. F4H Crux is also resolved to his time. We have 10 seconds left. Right then, so we will tally these results. I'll give them to you real quick before we head out. We had TPR Zermatt with a 144.166, F4H Diablo with a 145.244, F4H Miko with a 145.764, J Parrott 46 in 4th with a 145.790, F4H Aggie tried to improve his time but couldn't manage faster than 145.870 for 5th. F4H Crux then was 6th with a 145.951, and BG Wumba at the end did manage to go a 145 but couldn't beat out F4H Crux. He's 7th with a 145.987. We'll see you here in just a little bit, and we'll have the race here at the top of the hour, probably 25 minutes or so. We'll see you then in just a little bit.